It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is how to release mental blocks, especially as they occur during the holidays. There is a tendency to overthink and over-evaluate oneself as it pertains to what you give to another in the course of the holidays, be it Thanksgiving, be it Christmas, being it Hanukkah, whatever your religious ideology that you follow. Oftentimes there is a situation or event or pondering of relationship that not only causes you self-judgment and self-sabotage, but the conditions are ripe for evaluating yourself based on things that you do, cook, give, all these external events. And all these are well and good, but it can become quite sabotaging and really lead to a lot of confusion, fog, and really a sense of not only dissociation, but perpetuating the brainwashing and gaslighting that has been set up for you from a toxic relationship or a toxic family system. We talk a lot about the different personality disorders, the narcissistic, the psychopathic, the borderline, and sort of these abnormal psychopathic behavior ideologies that then influence others in a negative and sometimes positive, but albeit largely negative basis. Meaning it causes one to turn against oneself. The relationships cause one to devalue oneself as the other sort of devalues them or withholds communication, such as we see in the event of the covert narcissist. Pulling teeth, trying to get them to give eye contact during the holidays, during these events. They don't seem to smile. They don't have conversation with you. And it might become quite glaringly obvious that they strike up conversations with others in the family and not with you. And really, this can trigger oftentimes the conditions that were set up in one's earlier life as a child, where perhaps you had parents or siblings that were of a similar personality disorder, or especially in the covert narcissist, lack of attention, lack of warmth, lack of guidance, lack of affection, lack of communication, such as we see with the covert narcissists, where they're very unparticipative in relationships, withdrawing communication, withholding guidance, not being bothered, not giving you the time of day, not giving you an ounce of prevention that's worth a pound of cure. And especially with the covert narcissist, it's very insidious because a lot of people feel that they have to overgive, over-obligate, over-care for, overcommit to people who don't give them support, love, and unconditional positive regard in the course of the relationship. And especially if you've been sort of plagued with a covert narcissist, where there's been sort of this aloof behavior, and that can kind of set up the triggering and the foundation for you to fall into the trap of toxic others or other relationships where you sort of over evaluate and then over give. It's a tendency to feel that your relationship being you, being yourself, is not enough. Your jokes, your opinions, your values, how you cook, the things that you do just don't seem to hold water with them. It's like it's a constant challenge, a constant struggle. So people tend to then remain and perpetuate the brainwashing and gaslighting that's either been set up from that relationship or previous relationships, where they feel that their self-worth is based on what they give to another. In other words, the gifts, the cooking. Is the meal big enough? Is it, Is it expensive enough? Is this enough gift? Did I go far enough? All these different things. And then it sets up, particularly I would feel in the U.S., it sets up, the sort of checks and balances. And people then, end up taking out credit cards, personal loans, remortgaging their homes, taking, all these different things, refinancing their vehicle just to make it through the holidays. And then they end up in a state of, being in debt, all these different situations, which then don't serve the purpose of enjoying the holidays, enjoying the peace, enjoying prosperity, as it truly is in a balanced way. And it particularly is triggered in the holidays. People can be on edge. People can be very testy. They can get very stressed out. And when people get stressed, there's the release of neurochemicals, the cortisol, the adrenal, that over excrete and over secrete these hormones of stress, which then are deleterious, negative, and damaging to the body. And if we look at the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton, and we talk about the quantum field and quantum healing, the stress can affect the membranes of the cell and then negatively alter the DNA within. It was oftentimes felt that the DNA in the nucleus were setting up and the causative factors, the source of the cellular activities. But his research has shown something quite the opposite, that the stress and the thoughts and the emotions then are sent through the body, which then affects the membranes of the trillions and trillions of cells. So we see that, the reducing of your immune system, the propensity for fatigue, for immune system issues, for cancer, for the fibromyalgia, all the aches and pains like the rheumatoid arthritis. And a lot of the causative factors in Western medicine are not understood by contemporary medicine. It's just they don't know the cause. We don't know what causes this. It could be environment. It could be genetic. We don't know. And also along with those, sometimes they don't have cure, or they have disease, modifying therapies and things of this nature. But, if you look at the cause, oftentimes the cause is stress, pressure, not feeling good enough, not feeling enough, sort of catching yourself in that perpetual cycle of brainwashing and gaslighting, which is to doubt your self-worth and to doubt your reality and what you've said and done, to turn it against yourself, and it becomes a self-destructive or self-annihilating or joy-extinguishing thought process. So you have to understand the role of stress and how negative it can be during the holidays. And oftentimes people who are toxic, over-demanding, who will taunt you and tease you. Are you going to get me something? Are you going to cook? And without respect for your schedule, your health, other time constraints, other obligations. There's the guilt trip, which then prompts people to travel or to not travel. All these different things are set up. It's important for you to back up and understand that you have the right and are entitled to your own balance, to your own checks and balances. What balances your day? Are you over obligating, over stressing, trying to over prepare, control other people's happiness way too much, and then lose your own in the perspective? You need to basically get your eyes back in your head, get your ears back in your head, get your tongue back in your mouth, and begin to own your senses, own your reality unapologetically. I'm not embarrassed, and I am not ashamed for who and what I am. Oftentimes people then, will look at the gifts, and the gifts can be prank gifts. In other words, you haven't shaved in a long time and here comes a razor. Get the hint. You're overweight, here's the workout clothes. The gifts can be very disparaging and disheartening or really not be what you want. And then people tend to put all this pressure into the one the one meal, the one gathering. Why try to dance on the head of a pin? Why are you doing this to yourself? Realize that you're kind of boxing yourself up and putting yourself in the boxing ring oftentimes without your knowing. So it's like step out of the boxing ring. It doesn't mean that you don't have to celebrate. It doesn't mean that you don't have to decorate or celebrate in your own manner, but lighten your load. Look at how the burden and pressure has weighed on you. And to what degree are these messages that are sent from people who have too high expectations or are projecting their needs onto you that you don't have the requirement to fulfill. In other words, when we talk about people who have narcissist personalities, oftentimes people feel they have to people please these specific individuals, keep a smile on their face, keep them, with eye contact. In other words, you feel that you have to more than meet them in the middle, or they'll control you through frowns, control you through lack of eye contact, control you through withholding attention, control you through always being on the phone. You're at a Thanksgiving meal and here's everybody, people looking down, and you're just like, really? But yet you can't call them out because that would be to challenge the narcissist. And we all know how that goes. It never ends well. So cut the cord with these people. Take a big old fat pair of scissors and just cut the ribbon. Cut the cord. Cut the tape that surrounds you. In other words, you feel like you can't even begin to embark on your own comfort because of these other people's reactions. And so don't be controlled so much by people's reactions. Take it for what it is. If it's been this way for many years, chances are it's going to be that way for many years to come. People will trigger and guilt. Did you get so-and-so something? It was so nice, even though you don't do this or get along, it's so nice that you gave somebody something. I mean, all these different things that play on people's emotions and guilt. Don't buy into it, and don't feel ashamed for not buying into the gaslighting and brainwashing. People will overdo this, and take pride in having boundaries and standards and embracing your own limitations. There's nothing to be apologetic or sorry about. You'll be able to sort of ride the waves of the holidays a little bit more gracefully and a little bit more gently. Don't armor up and tense up your muscles and fatigue yourself out through all the stress. Begin to relax, soften up, ease up, soldier. Don't be afraid to participate in your own way. You might be able to just light a candle, light 5 candles, arrange something from the outdoors. Begin to make your own arrangements that come from items that are naturally harvested. Stop feeling that you're not good enough. Did you get something big enough? Whatever. All these different things that tend to plague people's mind, and they're ruining the very joy and sort of, happiness and peace of the season. Remember that the holidays are all about peace, contentment, and gratitude. Having gratitude for who and what people are that you have in your life. And even if they've been toxic, have gratitude for their toxicity, because you've been able to learn more about yourself in the process. You've been able to learn more about self-respect. You've been able to learn more about who you are and what you can do and what your talents are, and that is enough. You can still share your talents, but if you share them with the wrong people, you're going to get censored and, negative reviews. Don't throw your pearls at swine. In other words, don't throw good at bad. Don't feel that you have to, cave into this. Begin to participate and be connected to what really resonates with you and gives you that little, bit of joy, that little bit of happiness, that little bit of natural smile. Begin to, walk away from fakeness, falseness, and the pressure. Just throw your arms up and surrender. I'm not giving into it this time. See what happens. A lot of people, wow, I really did survive without going off the deep end. without giving into the guilt, without feeling that I haven't done enough or given enough. Begin to change up your traditions. Maybe you can volunteer. Maybe you can, have a little ritual for yourself in the forest. Begin to find a little tree that you go to. I think it's a Native American situation, or perhaps way of embracing the sacred. But if you, and I know because I have experienced this lesson from a teacher who's well steeped in that tradition, but to find a tree in the wild, in nature. Perhaps it's a little seedling, perhaps you've seen it before. It can be a little maple or an oak, and begin to just select one tree out in the natural environment, in a forest preserve, maybe it's in your yard, but one tree that you give special attention to, and even give it a name, and begin to sort of connect with that tree. Begin to visit it, just to take a look at it. How is it growing? How are its branches? How are its leaves? How is it, faring in the world? And begin to really remove the label of tree and begin to see really things for what they are. Trees and for what they do. Providing shade, providing a place for the birds, providing fruit, providing nuts, providing oxygen for you to breathe. Begin to see and appreciate all the things in the natural environment that give you life and contribute to life, but are oftentimes overlooked. This will give you a newfound discovery and perspective in something that will be enlightening and insightful to you, and will help to elicit that sort of spark of inspiration and calm, and create a new memory and a new physiological experience that will help you to unblock and stop feeling stunted, or that you're just sort of in a stonewall state, meaning basically that you don't feel that you're growing, that you're connecting, that you're progressing the way that you want to. The recovery date is extremely effective for these opportunities, and they're meant to be done alone. However, begin to find, to create new traditions, especially in the holidays. And not that you can be braggadocious about it to people, but doing it for your own heart. In other words, can you volunteer? Can you, participate in a food drive? Can you contribute to a food drive? Can you donate clothing, money, to people who are less fortunate? Or can you expand your circle to include others, perhaps, who can give back to you in a more healthy, beneficial, and nutritious way, meaning nutritious to your soul, that helps you to, feel grow, and that you're, on the path, and you're lighting up the path where you want to be. Doing different behaviors. We oftentimes have, shorter days, and not wanting to go out. Why not get a flashlight? Why not get a lantern? Why not, light your path? Why not put candles outside? Why not do something proactive that can help you to emanate and shine your light? You literally have energy. As we talk about this, and there's been studies that have shown that, on things like radios, and, while they're not really able to pick up, might be listening to a station, and then someone holds onto the antenna with their hands, and then the reception comes in more clearly. You literally are a receptor for messages and electric sound waves in the environment. Be very aware of what kind of sound waves you are picking up and holding onto and recycling within your body. Are these harmonic sounds? Or are these, messages that are very discordant, that are very harsh, that are very, unpleasant? And if so, look at why this is, and begin to understand why you're feeling this. Is this person just sort of doing time? Are they just sort of sitting there and giving you a snarl? Are they just sort of, looking at you very sort of, looking down at you? and yet then smiling the next second. Begin to understand what is unpleasant and why this is. Begin to really understand and read those body languages. It's an important thing to do, especially if you are on the path of healing, so that you realize that you're not missing anything oftentimes when you think that you are, or that you're good enough when this person actually makes you feel that you're not. You're nurturing the inferiority complex when you're around this person or thinking about them. Thinking about someone can almost be as intense as being with them, as received by the heart and by the mind. It's just like people can literally feel that they're running, a race if they're thinking about themselves running, and they can exhaust themselves just by even thinking of it. So the mind is a powerful thing. So begin to look at some of these situations and unblock those self-limiting beliefs which are fostered and also oftentimes reinforced by relationship with others who become toxic, controlling, and seek to have power over others, or don't allow you the ability to be present and to be yourself in that same environment. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, and please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Have a beautiful day.